quality of these recordings is going to be rough sometimes because, it's just me recording thoughts out and about, or just kind of at times when I've got a moment to think. So some of them will be really rough and will sound really bad, but the idea with this is to just record a variety of different ideas as they come, as they occur, and include it in this manifesto, and then eventually incorporate music. I've got to tell you, the truth is I just can't not make music, and I haven't recorded anything new for a few months now, and that's hard for me because I'm used to working. I've been making music for the majority of my life, pretty much all the time, and I just decided to take a break and to chill out for a while, and then coronavirus hit, and so now I've been devoting all the time to talking about things that I was discussing, back in 2012, and I recorded a whole lot of that information, and it was about what was happening to me at that time, but it's all gone. It's all been lost. And that's sort of a good thing, I guess, because now I've got new perspective, and I've experienced more in life, so I can speak about these things from, I guess, a more informed point of view. At least my understanding of the topic matter is more advanced now. But it feels like we're in a holding pattern, and that we're approaching something monumental, some massive shift in awareness and our reality, our whole existence. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but at the same time it feels like we're just in limbo, like we're just sort of almost as if we've already passed this point, or we've already experienced what is coming. Sometimes I think that we're actually dead, that we've all died, and that we're living in some sort of pastiche of our collective memory. Just fragments of the past. Everything seems to be becoming more distant and fragmented and detached, and as if it's just an echo of what life was once like. Themes start to appear when you start thinking of them. If you start feeling a certain way, if your emotions take you in a certain direction, and you start to recall memories that relate to those emotions, then these things start to manifest in your life into reality. I've only really noticed this in the past few years. Maybe even, like the past 2 or 3 years. It's like it's some grand illusion. And every time you get close to unraveling the secret, just pulling back the curtain, when you start asking all of the right questions that are going to take you to the answer, everything changes again. Because I felt like I was getting close just before coronavirus hit. I was on the brink of a realization. I was starting to make some really great music, and just at the point that I decided to take a break from that and, just live for a little bit, that's when everything started to break apart again in the form of coronavirus. And now we're back in this holding pattern. It's like maybe as a race, every time we almost attain our potential, we're pulled back into this holding pattern, so we never quite realise who we are or what we are, where we are in the universe. Perhaps this is just a part of this awakening process, this raised awareness, a sort of spiritual awareness of what makes us who we are. Maybe we're not meant to know. But right now I feel like I'm in a holding pattern. I feel like I'm in limbo. I feel like this is like the afterlife. This is simply a collection of memories that I'm experiencing, that I'm exploring again. I lived an entire lifetime, which was jam-packed full of experiences, the most intense experiences, experiences that most people will never have in their entire lives, of such energy and such extreme joy and then such extreme pain. Massive highs and massive lows. That was so vivid. But now it feels like nothing in this reality is vivid. Nothing is anywhere equivalent to that. All the people who I knew at that time have disappeared. And it's as if I'm wandering through this world and this madness is unfolding all around me, but I'm just observing. I'm just witnessing this transformation. And so that's why I'm documenting it, because it's all I can do. Even though I want to be making music and I want to be creative, I feel that this is a form of creativity. This, I feel, is the most important thing that I could be doing right now. These recordings serve a purpose, and I don't quite know what that purpose is right now, but I'm doing this for a reason. I'm compelled to do this for some reason. And the idea of making these available for anyone to hear is that when I listen to various opinions and commentaries on what's happening, current affairs and the alternative media and all of this information, this overload of information that's available on the internet, none of it feels genuine. It doesn't feel honest. It's just opinions, and everybody is critical of each other's opinions, and everyone's picking apart what has been said and criticising as to whether this is right or wrong. The fact of the matter is, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what is happening right now. Things are happening that are too sophisticated for human beings to understand. Maybe there are some people out there who have greater knowledge, greater awareness than others. But it's too hard to decipher the truth from lies. And it's so time consuming, and it is energetically draining to try and do that, to put that pressure on yourself to try and find the right answer all the time, the definitive meaning, the definitive truth, because it doesn't exist. And all these people are talking about this stuff, trying to promote themselves, and it's all ego driven. It's all about whether they are right or wrong. They've got the right information, so you should go and listen to them. But they don't have any more idea than anyone else. And if they say they do, they're lying. Because the people who do actually know, people who actually have a greater awareness of what's going on and have some sort of secret knowledge, they're not going to be talking about this stuff online. And that's one of the cruelest elements of all of this, is that the people who have the knowledge and the secrets, they never reveal them. They don't share that knowledge, and that knowledge could benefit humanity, and they keep it to themselves. And I believe that's wrong. But there's no point scouring the internet trying to find the secrets, because they're not going to be found there. The best way that you can get closer to the truth, closer to any form of truth, any semblance of truth, is to look within yourself, to undergo this process, which is a reflective process. This is also a way for me to listen back to myself in the future and learn about how I have evolved. It is a form of journal keeping, but the reason I'm doing it this way is because it's just easier for me to record these ideas on the fly. It's more honest this way, because I can't write it down and then cross things out, or tear out sheets of paper or retract what I've said. It's not like, the idea is just to record this stuff, put it up, make it publicly available in its raw form, and then leave it and move on, and then come back to it in the future with greater perspective and fill the gaps by listening to where I was at, weeks, months, years ago, to see how I got to this point that I will be at in the future. Talking is the best way. So I was thinking about the concept of love, which ties into this idea of intimacy being deleted from society. And the truth is, most people don't know what love is. They've confused it for lust. And their idea of love is purely material. It's a physical attachment. And it's the most devastating thing when you have a connection with someone that is not purely physical. But the other person doesn't understand how to relate to people in any other way. This is a cruel fact of life that most people don't know how to just love another person without the need for physical intimacy. It's because people are locked into the idea that they are their bodies. And so the only way that they can display affection is by using their body. And it's a terrible thing. I feel really sorry for those people because they've never experienced what actual love is. But it all centers around love. Life is about love. That's all it is. Everybody strives for their entire lives to find it. And then when they get it, it inevitably turns into something that they didn't imagine it to be. And some people go through life and they just accept that. They are satisfied with an approximation of love. But it's hard because when you know what it is and you have experienced it, you don't want to settle for anything less. And it makes me so sad to see people thinking that they are only worth as much as their bodies. It seems to be that that's the direction that society is being pushed in. But people just want connection. They want connection with another human being. So this idea of social distancing and not being able to be physically intimate is one thing. But that's not going to change this concept, this materialized concept of love. Because even online, the same principles apply. People are relying on even the idea of their body being the alluring point of attraction, the focal point of a relationship. But it's not that. What the social distancing does is it prevents people from being in close contact with each other, not necessarily any intimate contact in a sexual sense, but intimacy in terms of looking someone in the eye, being able to trust someone, knowing that they are honest. You can look at someone in a certain way, or someone can look at you and you can know that the feeling of love is there. They don't need to touch you. There needs to be no physical contact. But you have this energetic understanding that the person loves you and that you love them. there's a connection. But these types of connections can't be formed in this social distancing environment. So isolation is unhealthy, and it is something that people are being conditioned to accept in the long term. This is not something that's going to go away in a hurry. So I don't know, maybe someday people will listen to this and they will be in isolation. But you can know that there is a love in the world. There is a love that is so powerful that it can provide everyone with fulfillment. It is an energy that powers the universe. And it is greater than the force that is so pervasive in this reality on this earth, which is seeking control and the oppression of the human population. But love is supreme. It is the shining light of the universe. It is within everyone. Every person on earth has this love inside of them. And so instead of being distracted with frivolous, throwaway distractions, things that have no merit, no meaning. In the time of isolation, people should be reflecting on what is inside of them, and this love is there. There's too much noise being created around this pandemic. If you can switch off from that and just recognize that you are filled with love and power, that is what is going to see us through this phase. But it's almost as if humanity, as it is becoming or is being conditioned to become, it is like the love of the universe, the positive energy, the relationship that the universe has with humans. It's almost like a case of unrequited love, because humans are rejecting it. They're being deceived by the propaganda, and they're allowing themselves to be transformed into something that they are not supposed to be. We are not just animals who are concerned only with survival and pleasure. Our awareness is greater than being confined to the physical realm. We have consciousness that is capable of so much more. The universe wants us to be brilliant. And it loves us, and it wants to be loved. But people are not giving it that energy. More people need to put that energy out into the universe, because everything that's sent out there comes back. And too much negativity has been sent out, and that's why we're experiencing what we are now. I wrote this song that I've put up on the manifesto page. I wrote it when everything in my life was falling apart. But I had this understanding that you are the image of your own reflection. The universe is like a feedback loop. And if you keep feeding positive things into it, you will get positive things back. If you feed negativity into it, that is what you will get. And so many people now have been feeding negativity into this universe that it is throwing it back now. But see, the mainstream media and various other parties on the planet are trying to prevent the positive energy from getting out to the universe. The energy is being corrupted before it even has a chance to get out there. All these things seem so simple, but it's so complex to try and achieve what I'm talking about. People need to understand it for themselves. And that may or may not happen in my lifetime, I don't know, but all I can do is talk about it and hope that people will start to wake up. I think they have started, but it's just a matter now of awakening more people. And one day I'll be able to get back to making music. I mean, that's all I wanted to do. That's all I've ever wanted to do. But I have faced challenges in the same way that humanity is facing challenges now. And I have been set back by the same groups, the same types of people, the same creatures who are responsible for what humanity is experiencing. So I know what they're capable of, and I know what their agenda is. And that's why I keep talking.